Bunch of fucking nerds out there in nerdland, right-wing nerdland, are pissed off about the new He-Man. They feel that it doesn't have enough He-Man in it. It should have more He-Man, say they. And that a recurring trend of these videos is going to be that they all have incredible titles. It's the woke counter. Every time one of these fools says woke, we're going to add to the woke counter. And you can all make your bets now for how many you think that's going to be throughout the whole video.
1980s He-Man series, which I don't think it really is. I mean, just looking at the trailers and tonally, it does.
So they haven't even seen the fucking show. They have a 26-minute video. They haven't even seen the fucking show.
Surprise to no one, there is more race swapping going on. King Grayskull, who is the ancestor of Prince Adam, or at least he was in the 2002 series, has been race swapped. So we're gonna talk about that, because it's not the race swapping necessarily that is the issue, but rather the attitude.
It's not the race swapping, it's the attitude. Because honestly, if you do a polite race swap, that's fine. That's fine. I think it's fine to have black people in cartoons as long as you're nice about it. But if you're rude, then you shouldn't put black people in cartoons, I think.
But he was actually replying to this dude here, I think, Tim, who's like, ugh, I prefer making new, unique black characters rather than race swapping originally white characters. Instead of wearing your own shirt, you're getting a hand-me-down shirt from someone.
This shit drives me up the wall when they say that. Because, like, if they did that, if you instead of race swapping the beloved character King Grayskull, everybody's favorite character from the Masters of the Universe, if they instead introduced a new character, then you just be like, why are we spending so much time with these characters we don't care about, these new characters that nobody cares about? We want to get to the classic characters, the ones that we have an emotional connection to.
So he's answering a black guy, by the way, who said he doesn't want a hand-me-down character. Tim, I hear you, and that will indeed be a part of our story too. But a big hurdle when you're introducing a new character to a line of so many well-established characters is they're bound to be outsiders and harder to accept as canon, at least for a while. Nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that one of the new characters that they introduced, one of the only new characters that they introduced, is a black woman.
I wish I could take credit for being the one with the idea to make Grayskull black, because now in the history of all the champions of Grayskull, a black man has a role of prominence, as opposed to just being the guy with the clamp, who's King Randor's bodyguard. Clamp Champ was a badass, and they had a lot they could do with him in the 2002 series.
Yeah, there's a lot you could have done with Clamp Champ. I don't understand why this character they put in when they neglect all of the great black characters from Masters of the Universe, like for example, Clamp Champ is one of them. You could have put him in there.
He was going to be Man-at-Arms replacement.
So basically, instead of just making the characters that existed that were black more badass or making new characters, we're going to take one of the prominent characters, make him black, and as a hand.
In no way was King Grayskull a prominent character. In no way. He was maybe at best in like a couple of episodes. I had no idea who this fool was. I'm familiar with Castle Grayskull. If they made Castle Grayskull into a black person, I could understand this complaint.
Hand-me-down, so here you go. But it's okay, because he's prominent and badass.
So here we go with the rest of the video.
The only praise you could give to this Clamp Champ, what was it, Clamp Champ? Was that his name? The only praise you could give to him was that he was so badass. And now you're like, oh, but this is supposed to be okay because he's so badass? What does it matter? What does it matter is the question. What, like, when you're watching this cartoon, why do you go like, hey, hold up. Am I meant to believe that this character is black? Make every character black. Who gives a shit? What does it matter?
But if that's how it was in Masters of the Universe, who are they to get to change it?
The people making the fucking show. The people who are making literally all of the creative choices for this show. That's who they are. That's why they get to make those changes. Because every change is their choice. Because it's their TV show. King Grayskull was only in the reboot, not the original. If that's accurate, then these two are just beyond the pale. Pun intended, by the way. Black Castle Grayskull is Castle White Flight. This is what I love about streaming sometimes is chat will just make the funny jokes for me. I don't even have to try.
Just thinking maybe there was conversations about how it wasn't going to maybe go over as well as they had hoped. And maybe people, and maybe he tried to tell them. I don't know. And that's because
Kevin Smith tried to warn them, you can't mess with beloved character King Grayskull. The world isn't ready for a black King Grayskull.
That Netflix probably had a heavy hand in the direction of it because
we know they did with She-Ra.
I think it's fair to say yes that the company that produced this cartoon probably had a hand in it. Yes,
treating historically male characters badly.
In Hollywood, diversity just means women, lesbians, and black people.
Pretty much.
Yeah, famously Hollywood. Oh, every movie nowadays. I went to watch Black Widow. And it was all just lesbians and black people. That was all that was in that movie. What fucking planet do these people live on? Like, and even if it were true, even if that were the case, so what? Who cares? Am I wrong? Or like when white people were the predominant, and we still are, by the way, but when white people were like the de facto, everybody in a movie is white and nobody complains about it. Like, when that was nobody was sitting there like counting the races of all the different people in the movie. But now that suddenly there's this call for diversity and people are like, hey, it's actually kind of fucked up that we don't have a representative sample in media. Suddenly it's like, actually, there was already a black person in Masters of the Universe. His name was Clamp Champ. Why do you need two?
Pretty much.
Where are the Asians? Where are the Hispanic people?
Oh no, actually, it depends. In Hollywood, I guess that wasn't.
No,
Netflix.
I mean in like He-Man.
Yeah, well, they're probably not going to have Jitsu because Jitsu is problematic because Jitsu they considered him to be a racist stereotype, and also I noticed that the new Ninja.
So I don't remember this Jutsu character. But I'm gonna guess that he definitely was a racist stereotype. Let's do a little experiment here. Also, I'm disappointed they haven't said the word woke even once. I'm blown away at that. Yup. Yeah, it's pretty racist actually. I think if they said, hey, we shouldn't put that guy in, a pretty good call, actually.
Or I don't think his mask comes off. He used to be able to take his mask off.
Again, Hollywood thinks that diversity means women, lesbians, and black people.
Yeah.
Is that the complaint? Is the complaint that, in fact, rather than actual diversity, the diversity is limited to women, black people, and lesbians? Because I think you could make a case for the women and lesbians part. I think that oftentimes companies will use women loving women for their queer characters because that's perceived as less threatening than men loving men. The rest of it, I don't feel like there's a preponderance of black people in Hollywood or women are taking over every movie.
For those of you who are not familiar with King Grayskull,
which is literally everyone, everyone in your audience who is now mad that this character is black had to Google him.
Yeah, so here's the thing. King Grayskull is the ancestor of Prince Adam, King Randor, right?
Not in the show, by the way. He isn't in the show that they're talking about. No, he isn't.
Filmation just kind of made it up on the fly, but you could tell with the Mike Young series that they actually put some thought into the backstory of where Castle Grayskull came from, where the power of Grayskull came from. And it came from King Grayskull, who was like proto He-Man and was
that's so boring. That's like the most boring explanation is like, there used to be a different He-Man who looked exactly the same, but he had a little cape.
And Hordak, by the way, in the 2002 series, was not an emo pussy. If I can find Badass Hordak. There we go. Badass Hordak, not an emo pussy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was awesome. And this whole episode...
Man, Hordak used to be so cool. That Hordak used to be so cool, man. He used to be so cool, and they just made him a complete pussy.
That they also have Phil LaMarr playing Hero.
Yes.
So Hero, again, is, well, it depends on the timeline, but there was a hero that...
Let me tell you about Hero, because I actually, in this episode, I thought that Hero was going to turn out to be a villain. I thought would be the twist, because he seemed like too obviously heroic. So I looked him up on the Masters of the Universe wiki. This was a prototype action figure for a He-Man spinoff that never got produced. So this is now the character that they're complaining about that could potentially be black. Turns out wasn't. Turns out he was just played by Phil LaMarr, who does voices for everybody in cartoons. Very prolific voice actor. The person they're now complaining about, how it's an insult to canon what they're going to do with this character, is a prototype action figure for a cartoon that never got made.
This show, it's very...
I just don't know if they would go that far.
This is Netflix.
Mattel, though. I don't know if Mattel
even...
No. Mattel is chill. Mattel, my favorite toy guys, they're chill. They would never hurt my friend He-Man. And they would make Hordak so cool. They would, if it was up to Mattel, if Netflix got out of the way and Mattel could make the choices, they would make Hordak so badass you have no idea.
I still think by the end of it, they're going to be like, yeah, we don't need He-Man anymore. Everybody has the power.
Toy companies are very famous for this. Is what they do is they like to get rid of the very marketable characters that everyone would buy a toy of. That's like their main prerogative, is making sure nobody buys any toys.
So I want to know, does this mean Adam is actually black?
Well, you know what? It's possible to have black
Probably
ancestors and not be black. I mean, people are light skinned and might have come from, African bloodlines. It happens often.
I mean, literally everyone. Literally everyone came from Africa. They're going into some cool one-drop rule shit that I am here for. Let's hear your opinions on what makes someone white. Let's get into it.
I'm not against race swapping characters all the time.
Sure,
I want to be
seems like
very
you
clear
are
about that. And I'm not against that. My thing is like, look, we've got Clamp Champ. Why the hell aren't you making him a main character?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you ignoring Clamp Champ? Yeah. Why didn't they just make this guy the hero of the show? Look how strong he is. This guy's cool. I like this guy. And from this logic also, since there's one white character, He-Man, that's the only white character you need. Right? I don't understand why they're race swapping when they have perfectly good characters like Clamp Champ, who has a giant clamp that he carries around. He's the champion of it.
Okay.
Those are the Guardians of He. Are they allowed to be wait, are you allowed to say the Guardians of He? Isn't that problematic?
The Guardians...
No, it wouldn't be. But it is the stupidest sounding name I've ever heard in my life. It's not problematic. It's just that like maybe we could spend like 2 seconds to think of a cooler name for them. All right, I grow weary of this video. We're moving on to the next one. This guy used to be all over this platform, and I thought he was gone. I thought he was off, went into the sunset, was doing his thing out there, just living life, vibing, not a cell phone in sight. No, he's still around. He's still doing the exact same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you War Corpse 666, now known as Lord of Patriarchy. This guy's the most manly guy. He's so manly. You have no idea. He's so manly that he exists in every time zone. And he has a big bushy beard. And he thinks Masters of the Universe, ladies and germs. It's woke trash. I'm counting it. You don't have any idea. This is the saddest person in the world. This guy is like congealed patheticness. I am so excited. I haven't watched even a second of this, and I'm so pumped.
It's going to be fucking spoilers, so if you haven't watched Masters of the Universe Revelation, my advice would be to shut the video off right now.
He's already mad.
Oh my God, I just got done watching the first 5 episodes of Masters of the Universe Revelation, and why didn't you just have the fucking sorceress put a goddamn strap-on on and fuck He-Man up the ass with it?
Based. I totally agree. Why didn't they do that? That would have been pog as hell. Why didn't they? I'm with him on this. I thought I was going to disagree with his takes a lot. I'm 100% on his side here.
Why didn't he become a chastity cage wearing fucking beta simp like...
This guy's making so much sense. I really thought we were going to be on different sides of the aisle here, but he's making some points.
Now, to be fair, I went into it with an open mind.
Clearly.
Kevin Smith lied, and it is the Tila show.
But it's not, it's specifically not called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's called Masters of the Universe, implying that it's the greater world of the Masters of the Universe, and they took the He-Man part out of it. And another thing, Stinkor didn't have a big enough dick.
I was not happy with Orko's death, but he went out like a hero. And I don't know if I would have been fine with it if it was some new intellectual property, but it's He-Man.
This show, if it were a new intellectual property, it would be nothing. It is the only thing that makes it interesting is that it's a recontextualization of the characters from this cartoon that you're already familiar with. Having them move on from the cartoon that was static, where every episode ended the same as it began so that you could watch the episodes out of order, to watch them then progress forward. That's what makes the show interesting.
And this is what the big spoiler is. In the last episode, Skeletor kills Prince Adam. So there'll be no fucking He-Man in Masters of the Universe. And I guarantee you, I know where this is going.
So, no, he didn't. Skeletor stabs Prince Adam through the gut, and he falls over in pain, and like Tila's over him. It is left a cliffhanger whether he's alive or dead. And then Skeletor grabs the Sword of Power and gets the power of Grayskull, which kicks ass. That's a great ending. It's like, didn't you always want to see that in the cartoon? What happens if Skeletor gets his way? And like, what are they going to do about it? Skeletor was already a match for He-Man, and now he's got all of He-Man's powers. So what are they going to do? That's a cool idea for a story. Puts the characters on their back foot.
He-Man is going to be fucking Tila. Tila, the side head shaved fucking lesbian.
So mad. I was okay with He-Man being a woman, but I draw the line at He-Man having a different haircut and being a lesbian.
So once again, another classic male hero has to be sacrificed.
Another one.
On the altar of wokeness.
Hey!
You know, boys need heroes too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's the problem, is that there's no characters on the show for men to look up to. Little boys watching this show, they have no characters they can relate to. They have to deal with He-Man's only in a couple episodes. There's Man-at-Arms, there's Roboto, there's Orko, there's the King Grayskull, but he's black, so obviously you can't look up to him. It's a race swap. And there's not even Clamp Champ.
What heroes does a young boy of 5 or 6 right now have?
Here's the question. Why can't a young boy look up to a woman as a hero? What is the problem with that? There were female superheroes when I was a lad. She-Ra is one example. Sailor Moon, another.
Oh, that's right, none. They're all fucking girls because a bunch of fucking asshole.
Yep. There's no heroic male characters anywhere to be found. Spider-Man, never heard of him. Batman, never heard of him. Superman, who?
A bunch of fucking leftist assholes decided, oh, God forbid we have male heroes.
Yeah, that's communism is when you don't have male toys. And the fewer male toys there are, the more communist it is. This guy drinks soda like he's afraid it's going to run away.
A Masters of the Universe series without fucking He-Man.
He-Man's in it.
Tila will take up the mantle like Aaron goddamn to you.
Okay. Probably not, but even if she does, so?
Or her lesbian black girlfriend will.
Oh, no.
And Tila will become the fucking sorceress, and it just sucks.
What? He-Man doesn't become the sorceress when he what? And if the complaint was that they get rid of the sorceress and replace her with Tila, that's swapping a woman for another woman.
So yeah, Kevin Smith, you fucking lied to everyone right to their goddamn faces.
Kevin Smith, you told me that my favorite toy was gonna be on the kids show, and then the toy died. Another toy came and killed my favorite toy.
Oh, you're just toxic fans. You're just toxic fans.
But I'll say you are absolutely toxic fans. But like, you could not like it and not be a toxic fan. There are plenty of people watching this stream right now who I imagine didn't like the show just because they didn't like this story, or they didn't like the animation, or they thought the dialogue was bad, or whatever. There's plenty of things you can criticize about the show. Or maybe you're just, not interested in the Masters of the Universe because it's a toy commercial. You kind of outgrow it as an adult. But the fact that what you were specifically mad about is like not the way the story went, but your assumption that the story was made this way out of some perceived leftist infiltration agenda.
Fuck you. How about you have some respect?
You're calling me toxic? Fuck you. I'm not toxic. Go fuck yourself.
They made He-Man a bitch in Masters of the Universe.
He-Man is significantly stronger than he was in the old cartoon.
Fucking brilliant. Great. This won't cause problems. Anyway,
problem?
that wraps.
He says that like he says that like it's so self-evident that it will cause problems. What problems is it going to cause? I would genuinely love to know. Lord of Patriarchy, if you're watching, and I think you would be, I get the impression he would really enjoy my content. What problems do you think are going to come about as a result of He-Man becoming a bitch? Folks, you knew he had to make an appearance. You knew I couldn't make a video about Masters of the Universe, drama around a Masters of the Universe property without getting in my hero, my best friend, Jeremy the Quartering Hambley. So Netflix silences Kevin Smith on Masters of the Universe Revelation as season 2 in doubt. Now, if there's one thing you can say about Jeremy, is that one thing he will never stand for is when a big company tries to silence somebody just because they don't like what they're saying. That he's always saying how much he doesn't like that. So he's gonna be backing up Kevin Smith. Finally, somebody is gonna be on Kevin's side. Also, he has a sign in the back that says "Get woke, go broke." I'm counting it.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And as the
Thank you.
Hullabaloo around Masters of the Universe Revelation comes to an end, at least for the first time, because obviously we're going to get part 2 of Masters of the Universe Revelation, which is allegedly an Evil Lynn story. How original. There's been some...
What? Yeah, this is what I'm sick of with the... Ugh. Another one of these franchises is going to be focusing on Evil Lynn exclusively. How original. Jeremy isn't even going to talk about pegging. What's the point of watching it? We don't know that. You don't know that.
It has now been nearly 10 days since Kevin Smith tweeted a single thing about Masters of the Universe Revelation, which is a bizarre thing for a man so proud of his product, for a company like Netflix. So
that's fucking weird, isn't it? That somebody would go 10 days without tweeting about a cartoon that they wrote some of the dialogue for?
Or is he just finally done pretending like it's a good show? Finally done pandering? Finally done?
I think given that it's his show, he probably still thinks it's good, Jeremy.
I'm not exactly sure, but it's really bizarre to me. If I had a brand new show right? Hit Netflix, be top 10 trending on Netflix for about 8 minutes. I think I would be tweeting about it. Don't you think?
Yeah, but you have nothing else going on in your life. Kevin Smith is married, has kids, and has a thriving career. Like, this would be the most important thing that ever happened to you.
I wonder what's going on here. Could they have told him to stop antagonizing the fans? It's certainly possible.
It's possible, and therefore it happened.
Did Netflix do this? I don't know. I don't know if they would ever come out and say it, but it sure seems odd that suddenly and like unceremoniously, Kevin Smith immediately stopped talking about Masters of the Universe.
He did unceremoniously. He didn't announce his moratorium on tweeting about this cartoon. He simply stopped tweeting. Very suspicious.
It seems like Netflix would want him to do that. It seems like
What are you basing this on? This can't be the whole video. This can't be it. This can't be the title of this video is Netflix silences Kevin Smith on Masters of the Universe Revelation as season 2 in doubt. And so far he has multiple times said that he does not know if Netflix has silenced Kevin Smith.
how about Kevin Smith ruined my childhood favorite show, Netflix, and I hope he did something to fix the ridiculous narrative that Kevin Smith put us through.
Yeah, man. When I'm looking for an objective, neutral place where I can get my information, YouTube comments. Famously mild, famously moderate, famously nice and polite YouTube comments. That's where I would go.
If Kevin Smith made Rocky, Rocky would have died in the first act, sacrificing himself, getting run over by the Zamboni driver, and Adrian would have fought Creed and beat him in the first round.
Have you seen Rocky? Because Rocky loses. That's the point of the movie, is that he loses, but he went the distance.
I didn't grow up with He-Man, but what I find kind of funny is Kevin told people to grow up, but then just look at the room behind him. He dressed the way he dresses for a man in his 50s, and he had Jeremy, how dare you? This could absolutely be a comment about you. You have a Pokemon Where's Waldo displayed in your background, bud. You don't get to complain about Kevin Smith's bedroom. I was expecting He-Man. What I got was She-Man. When are you people going to create your own?
That tickled him. He's like, oh, very clever wordplay.
I understand that YouTube trends a little more male, and it's probably getting a little older these days as Zoomers use things like TikTok.
Yeah, and also probably fucking no person who is below the age of 30 even knows what the fuck Masters of the Universe even is. Then that also the show probably trends male because it was a boy cartoon. They specifically had to make a girl version with a girl He-Man. If you recall, you were quite mad about the size of her tits. And furthermore, I think also it's worth pointing out that, like, yeah, there's a lot of negative YouTube comments. Some of that might have to do with the fact that, like, knuckleheads like you were driving up all your fans to go harass everybody involved with the show and downvote it everywhere and review bomb it and shit.
To Kevin Smith, we won't listen to your excuses. We're going to blame you because you are an accessory, and we will not accept your show as canon. We did not come to give you absolution. There's no way to be.
When the time comes, Kevin Smith, you will not be spared.
In part 2, it's an Eva Lynn story instead of He-Man.
Yeah, she's a more interesting character. But He-Man, aside from just being on screen and standing around and occasionally hitting something, he's not a dynamic character. In fact, I think this show does the best job of making him an interesting character because they get into who Adam is, not just who He-Man is, which is interesting. It's interesting how Adam views himself.
And this time around, Smith admits Evil Lynn will be a focus of part 2, another strong female independent woman who don't need no man. Now, obviously, Evil Lynn is a strong character. Now, if Smith would have...
That's interesting. In the first 5 episodes, Evelyn's arc is about like coming to grips with the fact that she spent most of her best years in servitude to Skeletor instead of trying to get power on her own and coming into her own power, and how much she regretted that. But then when the first time that Skeletor comes back, she immediately flips and she's like, that's easier. That's an easier route to power. So I'm going to go for that. And the consequences of that decision are more interesting than like, is He-Man going to pick up the big sword and do a good punch on the skeleton? Will He-Man punch the skeleton? If He-Man doesn't punch the skeleton, how are they going to defeat the skeleton? What exactly did Kevin Smith lie about? He said that it wasn't going to be like, oh, it's He-Man's story. It's but of course he did. Because if he said anything else, it completely spoils the surprise in the first episode.
We mirror Teela's journey with Evil Lynn's journey as well, said Smith about part 1. You're talking about 2 women who have been in the shadows of very powerful male characters since the inception of the franchise. Awesome. Thank you for writing this wrong, Kevin Smith. I definitely didn't want to see...
It's wrong. It's objectively wrong. Everyone knows that you have the skeleton be the focus. Not the skeleton's girlfriend. That's wrong.
He-Man destroying Skeletor. I'm glad that you've righted this wrong. I mean, that's exactly what he's doing here, right? In his own...
That's what the show should have been about. It should have been a straight line, just He-Man slowly walking towards Skeletor, and when he got there, he hits him with his big sword and he kills him. Why is Kevin Smith writing this in such a way to get in He-Man's way of stopping the bad skeleton? The show is so bad because He-Man doesn't even stop the skeleton. Do you want the skeleton to win? That's wrong.
1, Evil Lynn had cringeworthy conversation about men with Teela and Andrea. Then at the end of episode 5, the quote subservient Evil Lynn went back with Skeletor, so we can see where all this is going.
I didn't think that conversation was cringeworthy. I thought there was a bit of dramatic irony in it, in that she's telling Andrea, don't follow dangerous men, and Andrea's looking at Teela like, does she know I'm gay? Does she not know I'm gay though? That's the joke of that scene, Jeremy.
Kevin Smith wrote He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelation to get laid. That's how it feels.
Oh yeah, Kevin Smith was drowning in puss after he wrote Masters of the Universe Revelation. Tell a girl that you're really into He-Man, she will be dropping panties like you wouldn't believe. Like, holy shit, dude, listen to yourself.
So I'm guessing that season 2 is probably in doubt. I'm going to guess that Netflix won't say that this was a huge hit. And I'm good.
So just let's take a look at the title. Netflix silences Kevin Smith on Masters of the Universe. He doesn't know that. He says so in the video. Revelation as season 2 in doubt. He doesn't know season 2 is in doubt. He doesn't know any of this. He's guessing.
Obviously, I could be absolutely wrong. I have underestimated people's willingness to watch trash on Netflix significantly in the past. Some of the shows I see on trending, which I'm sure are hand curated, are beyond terrible, but yet they're there anyway.
What diagram that sentence up? I've underestimated people's ability to watch trash. There were some truly bad shows on trending that it must have been handpicked. So you didn't underestimate people's ability to watch trash? This dude can't keep a sentence straight.
But right now, there's absolutely no information about season 2. I'm not sure that it'll ever happen, and I couldn't be happier if that were the case. I hope you enjoyed this video.
God damn. What an incredible waste of time. Like, imagine you're a fan of Jeremy. You like his videos. You tune in every day to hear what he has to say about all of the cartoons and why you should be mad about them. And you see this headline, Netflix silences Kevin Smith on Masters of the Universe Revelation in season 2 in doubt. And you think, here we go. It's some news about this cartoon I hate that Jeremy keeps telling me is really bad and I haven't watched. And then you watch the video and it's just him going, yeah, maybe Netflix told him to shut up. Maybe there's not going to be a season 2. Like, imagine how ripped off you must feel. Should I drink my soda like Lord of Patriarchy drinks his? This video is called She-Man. I see what you did there. And the Masters of Woke. Kevin Smith is a liar.
Nerdrotic.com.
Everything is going to get woke at some point.
Like, I know nothing about He-Man, guys. So sorry. Like, when He-Man was a cartoon, I was a little older. I wasn't into it because I don't know if I want to say my excuse from back in the day was I always thought it looked a little. So
he's the host and it's his channel and he never watched the fucking cartoon they're complaining about.
I understand, like, this is a childhood property and he's called He-Man.
They, them.
Well, them,
Caesar, man.
It was going to be, no, it's themra, and theyra. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do is because you can't say he or him on TV anymore. He's not woke enough to say that anymore. You got to say they. This made up word that I've never heard until the woke started saying it. They? What does that even mean? This guy wants to end his life. He's miming that he wants to be out of this world and dead because what they're going to do is they're going to call him them, man. Just kill me now.
They know they can't market it with the identity politics. They have to market it to the toxic crowd, just like what they did Last of Us 2. They literally invented a scene.
So like, if nobody would like the woke direction in the identity politics they're going with, why wouldn't they just make the toxic show that everybody would like and would make them a lot of money? Which is it? That they're doing this because they're mercenary and they don't believe any of this shit? Or is it that they're so ideologically committed to this pure nonsense that you've imagined that they will deliberately self-sabotage and do something that will lose them a bunch of money just to pursue this agenda? Like, which is it?
To me, is that probably like He-Man got defeated and is gone. That's kind of what I think it looks like to me. Yeah. One major difference is that...
Nope. So they haven't seen the show. Clownfish TV was right about everything. Probably what's going to happen in the show is that... So they haven't seen the show, but they know that he was right about everything. About the show that they haven't seen. He-Man didn't get defeated and fuck off. He defeated Skeletor in a Pyrrhic victory that he then had to sacrifice himself to save the realm in this big heroic grand gesture, a capstone on his career of heroism, and then is immediately brought to heaven and hailed as a hero.
When you watch that trailer, looks nothing like this synopsis. Nope. When you watch that trailer, it looks really cool.
Yeah, how come the trailer didn't give away everything that's going to happen on the show? How come in the trailer they didn't show the results of everything that happened in the first episode and show all the big surprises?
It's the witch her now.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Well played, sir. Coin.
So what they're doing is...
I just noticed for the first time that there's a girl on the panel. She hasn't said a word in this video. She's just sitting there. That's incredible. There's no greater metaphor for what is happening than that. You couldn't have done it better if you tried.
This is part of the Me Too Time's Up era, and they know they couldn't just do a Tila show. Henry,
there's nothing wrong with having
focused episode. No, there's nothing wrong with having a Tila focused show. Just have a show and then do it.
Then why are you so mad about it?
Oh no! What's worse? Sorry, what's worse? Watchmen. Dr. Manhattan leaves to go become a god, and then he decides to come back because Regina King's character was so extraordinary that he came back.
Why couldn't they just make Dr. Manhattan the incredible, cool badass that he is in the comics, like how he's always so cool? But in this show, he comes back because he falls in love with a woman. Gross. Just that's not what the character would do. He would use his cool powers to do cool stuff, like how he was a big monster evaporating Viet Cong in that scene. How cool that was. And how you're supposed to watch that scene and go, oh, how cool. What a cool guy, because he's so strong. It's good that he's that strong.
He turned himself into a black guy and then handed his powers to her through an egg. Literally.
No, he got killed. He got killed. And so as a backup plan, he gave his powers to her. He didn't choose to do that. He was going to die.
Handed his balls to her at the end of the show. And then
wait, does this guy think balls are eggs? Does this guy think egg is balls? Does he think you got 2 little eggs in your scrot? Is that what this person thinks?
He-Man is awesome too because the power that everyone got their power from was from Castle Grayskull, and whoever controlled it is really who had the power. So it could be evil, it could be good, but it was the same power source. So it's kind of cool if you take a step back and look at what that is. It's pretty amazing. Like anyone could have power, anyone could use it for good or evil.
But the thing that they are specifically complaining about is it's not the right guy using that power. And also, I love that he's just stating the premise of the show. Like, what's cool about it is that he gets his powers from the magic sword. And that's pretty incredible if you think about it, that the magic sword makes him a big, strong boy. And that the skeleton wants to get the sword so he can be a big, strong boy. Either a good or evil boy can get the sword. A girl can't get the sword. That's not cool. A boy getting the sword is cool.
Have to have a strong woman and a fucking cock. The balance is just completely evaporated.
I personally want to see a show with...
Like, the projection here is surreal. The idea that, like, actually what's happening in the... It's not that I feel powerless in the world. It's not that I feel like my power is being taken away and my identity as, like, king shit, being the best guy and being treated like I'm better than everybody else just for existing, and I feel like that's being taken away and I have nothing else. That's not what's happening here. What's happening is they made He-Man weak. Is the thing. I don't feel weak. I'm still very strong and I've got lots of other stuff going for me. It doesn't matter if they take away men's position of being the most important and the strongest. I have other stuff going on aside from being a dude. But what they're doing is they're hurting He-Man, my friend and one of my favorite toys. The only girl in the chat is muted. Everyone else has their mics on. She is muted. The Heels v Babyface video to do is called Kevin Smith is a Liar. He-Man is the Telia show. Did he spell it Telia? He does. He does say Telia. Oh, that's badass.
I decided, and this is just a personal decision, that I would rather give Kevin Smith as much rope as he wanted. I would rather just keep quiet. And
he's a chess master. I see. Many people were quick to pounce on Kevin Smith, but I simply stood back. I knew that given enough time, he would ensnare himself in my trap.
And then wait for the series to come out so I could watch it in its proper context. And in that time, see whether or not Kevin Smith was getting himself some more rope to hang himself with.
Yes, it was actually a bold tactical decision to wait until the show was released so that then I could watch it and have opinions on it.
When a hero falls in battle, it's up to Teela to save the day, blah, blah, blah. And again, the
whole reason that is interesting is because Teela's not as strong as He-Man. That's what makes her an underdog. That's what raises the stakes.
Because I have watched all 5 episodes now of He-Man. Oh, sorry, I should really say Masters of the Universe. The He-Man is very noticeably absent.
Yeah, also it's the title of the show. You'll notice that the word He-Man is not in the title of the show. So yeah, actually you should call it by the title, yes.
And she starts whinging about, how do you think I feel? All of you people keeping this secret from me. How do you think I feel? Bitch! Her son's just died. The Savior of Eternia has just died. And you're bitching about yourself?
Yeah, that's completely unreasonable. It's completely unreasonable to feel betrayed when you find out that your best friend has been lying to you for years about the most important thing in his life. But what's reasonable is to get really mad about a cartoon and complain about that. That's normal. But if you're mad that the most important thing happening in your best friend's life and like something that you actually should know because you trust 2 forms of him with your life constantly, if they hold that from you, why are you so mad? It's not like they put a girl in your favorite cartoon. I don't understand. What's the problem?
In episode 2, we now see the new improved Teela. And by the new improved Teela, she's turned into a man and is now a lesbian. Well, not... she's suddenly Butch Cassidy. She's wearing her,
Why women have muscles? Why couldn't she have the realistic proportions that this show is known for? Why couldn't she just look normal and well-proportioned and like a realistic character? Like He-Man does. Like how He-Man looks exactly like how a human would look in real life. Suddenly they're making every character in the show so muscular. I don't understand. It's just a boy. Why is girl boy? Why is girl boy? Girl has muscle. Boy should have muscle, not girl. They didn't even put Clam Champ in the show.
You can't have your females looking attractive in these things. No. Because Soy Smith
fucking got him. And that's clever wordplay because his name's Kevin Smith, but he changed it to Soy because Kevin Smith is so weak.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice does not, I was going to say doesn't fit her, but it fits this version of Teela.
Teela, let's be real here. Teela looks badass in this show. It is a complete improvement over the old design. She looks better in every way. Teela fucking owns on this show. You're out of your mind.
Shrill and awful. And she's got her...
Wait, Sarah Michelle Gellar's voice is shrill? Sarah Michelle Gellar has a very deep voice.
Her little black companion with her. You know, I say that flippantly, and I do that flippantly because we all know that they probably said, yeah, okay, we need to tick a box for this one. So let's just tick that one.
Yeah, because why else would you have a black character on a TV show? Because if the character had been white, then you could just assume that's normal. White is the normal way to be. But if they're black, they're probably doing it to tick a box. That makes sense. You can just assume that. You can safely assume that.
This old woman was like, why did you go around Eternia, claiming relics back for people and all this kind of stuff? Because that's what she's doing now. She's now Indiana Jones.
How famously boring character Indiana Jones. Ho-hum. Oh, you're telling me she's just going to go around in this action cartoon having adventures in exotic locations?
And she's like, because I believe in fighting for people. And then she looks at her female partner, and her female partner looks at her, and they're just like, doughy-eyed together. Because they're gay!
Why would they have two characters be in love in the TV show? It doesn't make any sense that two characters would love each other. Why would they have the characters love each other? It's a plot hole, if you ask me.
Or are you queer baiting, Kevin? Because that's not how normal people look at each other when they...
Yeah, it is. I understand how, having never known love, you might not know this, but when you love someone, sometimes you do look at them and smile, actually. Yeah, that's a real thing people do.
Yeah, talk about these things. Teela grabs her from behind and hugs her. She's just like, nosies, wherever you go, Z's, I go, Z's.
Yeah, it's almost like these characters love each other. It's almost like when they love each other, for some reason it inclines them to touch each other or show affection physically. Real weird. It's weird because it's a fantasy show, right? So you kind of let some of that stuff go. Some of these abstract elements, like how someone might hug their girlfriend.
This is a person we've never met before in the show. So from our perspective, no, they're together. It's clear and obvious they're together. But just because they don't say, hey,
why are you presenting this like it's a flaw with the show? That these two characters are dating. What is the problem? He seems to be bouncing between it's a problem that they're gay on the show, but it's also a problem that they don't explicitly state that they're gay. The latter, I would agree with him with. I think the show would be better if they were more explicit about the fact that these two characters are dating, or if they showed them kissing or something like that. And I think beyond that, I think there's a serious conversation to be had about how, as I said earlier in the stream, if there's going to be a queer romance in the show, it's always between women. Male homosexuality is still treated as too dangerous for children's media. And I think that's a shame, especially in a property like He-Man that is famously homoerotic. I think that you could, there's room for that there. Maybe give Man-at-Arms a boyfriend. Why not, you know? He's kind of hedging his bets so that, like, people who are mad that there are lesbians in the show will think he's talking to them, and people that are mad that that it's queer baiting will think that he's talking to them. It's a very strange dance that he's doing.
They have all the grace, you know, the Master He-Men. And they're all various colors, of course, because far left ideology racism. And they're like, Adam.
Yes, the far left ideology that some people are different races than others.
Was the only one who came to heaven and didn't accept his big muscular masculine form. And he's sort of like in there in the background going,
oh my God. Like, the point of that is to show Adam's strength of character, that he doesn't need to make a big show about how he's the big strong, that he chose to be Adam rather than He-Man, that's how he sees himself, that he doesn't place a value as much on physical strength as he does on being himself. That's a noble thing that he does. It's meant to show that he's the most heroic of the people there.
oh, hi! Oh my God, I'm like Prince Adam!
He's not like that at all. He's very understated in the show. Again, unlike how he was in the 80s show, he was much more arch in that show.
So that he just immediately gives his sword to Tina. It's just like, oh, you want the sword? There you go.
He has half of the sword that they need to save the world, and he's dead and he can't use it. So it's a piece of metal that he can't use as a sword, that if he gives it to her, it'll save the world, and if he keeps it, nothing happens. So yeah, he hands it over. It kind of makes sense in context. And again, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't even matter. Because even if the first episode was He-Man walking up to Tila and saying, hey, I suck eggs. I suck real shit. Here's my sword. You're cooler than I am. And she took it and her tits fell off and she got big muscles and she says, I'm a dude now. That's who cares? Just don't watch the show if that bothers you. Watch something else.
Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel.
God, it's so badass. Somebody did a steppy on the baby. So what have we learned, do you think, about this one? We've learned Kevin Smith is a liar. He lied. He lied and said it wouldn't be about a girl, but it was. That's right. Did we learned that the girls on the show, instead of... Frankly, I would have been fine. If you get rid of He-Man, you don't want to do a show about He-Man and the skeleton, that's fine. But at least put Clamp Champ around. Like, make him the hero. He's got a big clamp. I love Clamp Champ. The best guy. We learned not to listen to people that live in basements. I don't know if you're trying to slam dunk me, but I live in an apartment. They live in basements. And they have lots of cool toys. I love how they put their toys in the background. Like, I have Legos. Do you? I'm making sure to carefully frame my Legos in shot so that everybody knows I'm not just some guy without Legos. I got all the best Lego sets, assholes.